Hey y'all, so I'm back. I'm back here with another video. So, Onika Mirage, okay, had a sit down with Joe Budden. Now, I just want to I don't know if I'm going to be here very long. Don't know. But I found it to be very interesting. I'm going to kind of go through some of the stuff that she touched on throughout the interview. I would like to say, overall, I thought it was a really good interview. I thought Joe asked the right questions because every time, like, he did a lot of good follow-up questions. Like, there was a lot of times where like he asked the question and I'm like, damn, I wish he would have asked her this, and then he'd end up asking her. So really good job, Joe. I love the fact that Nicki was extremely open. She just seems like she's in a better space compared to her queen era, which we'll get to. So I really appreciated that. She was honest, much more honest than I think she's really been before. So I like this side of Nicki. I liked a lot of what I heard. Of course, there's some things that I didn't agree with or whatever, but we'll get into that. But overall, I thought it was good. I see that she's trying to roll this out, whatever she got coming on, like cause she been busy. I think this interview is a great start to whatever she got coming. It's good. It's way better than the fucking Queen era. Like, and we ain't even that deep. Okay? So, let's see. So, Nicki talks about how when she came in the game, how she pretty much was one of the first people to really kind of like get dragged like online. Now, she said she was the first person. Did she say she was the first? I don't want to put words in her mouth. I do agree with Nicki that she came in during the time where the internet was like really like starting. And what I will say about Nicki, and a lot of this I said before, I'll say it again, you had to be there. But prior to Looking Ass Niggas, because Looking Ass Niggas was pretty much her rollout for her rebrand, which was like the Nicki that we have today. Prior to Looking Ass Niggas, Nicki was, like she said, pink wig, thick ass, crazy hair, just crazy outfits, all this stuff like that. And she definitely used to get dragged online, specifically for her hair, her makeup. Like the Stupid Hoe video, that was her whole aesthetic all the way up until Looking Ass Niggas, which I think was 2014-ish. I think Looking Ass Niggas is like 2014, pretty much all the way up until her pink print era. Pretty much. All the way up into the pink print era, that's when Nicki was dressing crazy. So I do agree with her in the sense of a lot of people probably can't really relate when like you're the first to be in something like that. She finally flat out admitted that she got butt shots. Now, this is something that forever people have pretty much for the most part like kind of known about Nicki, but Nicki has never really flat out, and I'm pretty sure the Barbs will correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't ever remember her like flat out addressing it the way that she's addressing it now, pretty much saying that she did get butt shots. Now, I know, and only don't worry about if my butt fake. Y'all niggas up. Y'all know what I'm fucking saying from Only, okay? I don't got time. I got my mind like it's racing right now. But so I was like, okay, if this is the road that we're going down, and this was early in the interview, I'm like, okay, if this is the road that we're going down, Nicki, I can get down. Because the thing about it is, we all knew that she got ass shots. I never felt like Nicki did anything to her like face, because I know people talk about like her nose a lot. I just always thought it was really, really good contouring. But her ass, obviously, but it's something that she just never really talked about. So I appreciated that. What else we got? Joe asked her, oh no, she also talked about pretty much the reason behind that, saying that, you hanging out with like Wayne and all of these other rappers, they be having big booty tings, okay? As she likes to say, big booty tings in there, okay? So that obviously, I'm pretty sure it made her feel like extremely self-conscious. And then, I'm pretty sure, like she said, she was like, they would make, jokes and stuff into them, it's jokes. But, as a woman, you got to be careful when you do stuff like that. You really do. And she's like, so, I went and I got my butt shots. Um, so I wonder, because I think Joe, we'll get to this part. Joe ends up talking about like the starter rapper kit now, like for women and stuff. You know, you got to look a certain way, have a certain ass, titties, all this other stuff. And when he said that, I was like, Joe, I wish you would ask her if she feels responsible for that, because she was like, yes, that's true. Like, you do have to have a starter kit now. But he did ask her, do you feel like you had a part in that? And she said, absolutely. And Nicki said when she was pregnant, this is like my second or third time hearing her say this, that when she was pregnant, she did not feel comfortable like rapping like a certain way and like rapping about certain things. And so now that she's a mother, she kind of looks at it a little differently. So I wonder if going forward in Nicki's music, is she going to make a more conscious decision to not be as, I guess, sexually explicit in her music as she has been in the past? And with that, I'm very interested in seeing the way that I'm just interested in seeing how that goes, because as we know, Nicki Minaj, she's an amazing rapper, but part of the sell of Nicki Minaj is sex. She's sexy. Like that's her thing. She's Nicki, you know? Thick with, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's her thing. So I'm going to be very interested if she takes a turn from doing that and just goes a different route. That'll be interesting to me. What else do we have here? She talks about like being a role model and how, you know, even though you don't want to be, you're automatically one when you get to a certain level. And she said, you know, she just had to, as time goes on, the older she gets, she takes that into consideration a whole lot more now. She talked about how Future told her one time, you know, these people, they think I do all of these drugs and stuff like that. I'm a lightweight for real, for real. And it's like, damn, but like the way it comes across and the way that your fans, so it kind of fucked with her pretty much a little bit. So she thought about that. She talked about that. She talked about pretty much how rappers are villainized compared to any other genre. And we all know it's because we black. Let's just get down to the get down. He asked her, how does she feel about longevity in female rap? Now, she said that she feels like at this point, like when she came in the game, she felt like people should be like, women should be moguls. Like there were no moguls in hip hop, like how there was like Jay-Z or anything like that. So she was like, I just feel like, but the reason behind that, she said, is because they didn't have the same opportunity, which is facts. You know, she was like, they wasn't able to make as much money. Do you know how much money is into this now? Like, it's not just us and a few people and, you know, like just us and the people up the block and people. This is a global thing. So the amount of money that is in the game now versus 20 years ago, it's not the same. You know, it's in 20 years from now and 20 years from when Nicki got into the game. So, you know, I liked how she talked about that. And she said, you know, and Joe has talked about this before too, that she feels like certain people that have like paved the way in this thing called hip hop, I don't know, they deserve like something. Like they deserve to get something for pretty much like like paving the way for everybody else. Like, and I would have to agree. Where am I in time? All right, gotta go. Keep going. She also talked about how, you know, the things that she's had to sacrifice as she's got bigger and bigger. She talked about how she wants to do outside of music. She wants to do makeup, hair, clothes, shoes. That makes sense. That's all Nicki right there. This part I found extremely interesting. She said that the reason why she really didn't negotiate is because, put it like this, you don't want to negotiate when you not popping. And she pretty much said, you don't, like as a basketball player, you wouldn't want to negotiate when like the Lakers right now. And don't nobody on that team want to negotiate right now. You want to negotiate when you up. And Nicki knows that the past couple, like I want to say since Queen, the few rollouts that she's done, like Seeing Green hit, and Seeing Green to me is like one of the best songs of last year. But like that was just kind of a mixtape thing. But after Queen, all the way up until now, she hasn't really put out a lot. But the stuff that she has put out hasn't really hit like that. So like she said, I might as well just take a step back. She also talked about how She did not feel like Queen was presented right. She don't even think Queen should have came out. And she doesn't think that she presented herself correctly. And the reason I'm so glad she said this is because it literally validates everything that I was saying in all of my videos last year when Nicki was going off and doing all of that stuff. I always felt like, Nicki, you are Nicki. You don't have to sit up here and argue with nobody about anything. You're that bitch. And the way that she was carrying herself during the Queen era, it was just like, we had never seen Nicki be like that before. And it's like, girl, take it down a couple notches. So I appreciate the fact that she acknowledges that Queen, that whole role, that entire era of Queen, it was not a good era. It was messy as hell. And I'm glad and I'm thankful that she, like, recognized that. And, like, acknowledge that pretty much, because a lot of times the barbs don't want to acknowledge that Queen was a messy era. It was messy. Okay. Then she talked about how, her being pregnant and going through COVID and she had writer's block. And I know she talked about this before on her live when she was about the premiere, Seeing Green and stuff, and how Drake helped her a lot with that. She talks about not wanting to do trap sounding songs and stuff like that and not trying to ride the wave. And this is no shade at all, but do we have a problem? And Budden in particular, they do sound like kind of what's out now. So that's in my humble opinion. So that's why I didn't understand when she was talking about, and I guess this will be a negative. I didn't understand when she was talking about throughout this interview, oh, it's not good to ride waves and stuff, which is true. It's not. But Nicki, there has been point in times where you've ridden waves before. Can't say that you didn't. And I'm not even saying in a negative way. When EDM was popping, that's where Starships and Pound the Alarm and stuff like that comes on. The EDM at the time was popping. That's a wave that you got on. The whole thing with 6ix9ine. That was a quote unquote wave in a moment. So that's what you hopped on. Same thing with this. But I'm not saying that Nicki is not unique and she's not talented and she doesn't bring her own twist to these things. But you can't say that you've never really ridden a wave before. Not your whole career. Hell no. But there has been points in times in your career where you have. And that's okay, because when you did it, you did well. Let me see. I also want to bring up really fast before my camera cut the hell off that she said they talked about a verses and she didn't say who. Joe brought up Little Kim. She didn't say anything. She did end up saying later on, because she talked a lot about fashion. She was sounding like Kanye to me, but she was talking a lot about fashion, but making very valid points, and pretty much said that, she was like, I'm pretty much just going to say it, because you could tell she wasn't sure, but she was like, fuck it, I'm going to just say it. Me and Little Kim should both be on the cover of Vogue, period. Our influence is what it is. Facts it is. And I'm glad that she said that. Another thing that I don't want to say but I didn't really agree with Nicki is when Nicki talked about how, numbers don't really matter. You think when it all gets down to it that people are going to say, she was pretty much saying people want to depend on their number so much to try to make it seem like, you're doing something. But in this culture, we don't care about numbers. We care about your rap lyrics. Now, I'm saying, and I understand everybody has the time to grow. But if we rewind it back to when Remy Ma and Nicki got into it, Nicki was throwing out her numbers. That's all she kept doing, is saying, we don't do diss tracks, we do hits. That's why I have numbers. It was a lot about the numbers at that point in time. And in my opinion, and again, this is not to throw shade nothing, but in my opinion, I feel because I don't even know if she gives a fuck about Cardi, but when that whole thing with her and Cardi went down, Cardi has the numbers. So you can't say to Cardi, oh, well, bitch, it's about numbers, because Cardi has the numbers. So now you can say, bitch, you don't have the bars because Cardi doesn't have the bars. So I didn't agree with that part. But outside of that, I thought it was very interesting, everything she talked about as far as the fashion. And she wasn't really shading Kim K, but she was pretty much saying that Kim K does it, it's wonderful, and she gets put on, but I do it and I don't. And I would have to agree with her. Nicki is absolutely a trendsetter. She has done a lot of them fucking Crocs, them pink Crocs, when she did that damn picture. But overall, I thought it was a good interview, though. But y'all get in the comments. Let me know what y'all think, what y'all liked, what y'all didn't. I'm out. Bye.